Right, good evening. Welcome to the Amateur TV Net, which is held every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I'm Neil, VK3BCU. There's been a bit of activity during the week on analogue TV, old AM analogue TV. So for a short time only, you too can watch analogue TV. So drag out your old CRT TVs that you've probably got in the shed or the garage. Most old analogue TVs will tune in 444.250. So drag out the old CRT, you'll be able to watch Dennis VK3YLH and hopefully soon VK3BFG on analogue TV. And I do have an example of a picture that was received by Rob VK3 IE just recently from Dennis. So that's the sort of pictures we used to live with. So you can see it's an old CRT TV, and that's what Rob was receiving from Dennis YLH, who's right across the other side of town, probably 50 or 60 kilometres. So drag out the old analogue TV sets and join in the fun. So yeah, all good. Now back on this camera. Okay, tonight we have watching people that are logged in already. James VK3HB, Mark VK3PI, Bob VK3BVR, Peter VK3TLF, and that's the ones that have checked in that are only watching this evening. I know there are other people watching. In fact, there's about 12 already on Ian's YouTube feed. So first up this evening, you'll have Peter VK3BFG. So Peter, if you want to fire up your digital transmitter, not the analogue one tonight, the digital one. Analogue can be during the week. And so across to Peter very, very shortly when he comes up, and then he'll be back to me and I'll call in the other stations who will be VK3QL, VK3CH and John VK3ATV. So get ready and very shortly switch across to Peter. I see Peter's up now, so please switch across to Peter now. Switch across to RTV1.
Okay, looks as though we're good to go and audio's there. I think your audio might have been a bit loud there, Neil, but it might be just me. But anyway, we did... it was a bit yeah, not to worry. Yes, look, I've definitely been upstaged by Dennis, 3YLH, who managed to scrape a picture across town, analogue. But I'm waiting for some FETs to fix up the converter that I've got. And Dennis has got the advantage, he's got a little analogue TV that tunes directly, whereas I've got an old analogue TV that's only got channels about 1 to 6 on it. So I've got to try and work with that. But we'll get some pictures through, and it's really just a little bit of fun. And once we've done the pictures through, we'll probably pack it all the way. But it's just generate a little bit of interest and a little bit of activity. And we might even then pull the FM transmitters out and see if we can work with them. Because I've still got my FM transmitter there. I had to rebuild my AM system. But the little FM exciter is still there, so that wouldn't be all that hard to do. I've just come back from an angel flight. Actually, I'm a little bit weary. And John, I know you're listening and watching. It was a good call to go IFR today. Getting out was okay, but there was definitely IFR stuff on the way back. Anyway. I've got a little presentation for you. I've got the receive system for 1278 down here. I'm just troubleshooting it, and I'm finding there's nothing wrong with it actually, but it doesn't seem to want to poll up at Mount View. So the problem's up there rather than down here. But I have the system here, and I thought, well, it's just an opportunity. Some people may not have seen what we do and how we get signals from both DVB-S, DVB-S2 and DVB-T. So stand by, we'll go across to camera 1. Okay, should be on camera 1 shortly. I can see it up there now. what you're looking at here is the back of the receive stack, and this device here is a 3 dB coupler. Very, very nice 3 dB coupler. There's certainly no loss through that. I mean, there's a loss of 3 dB because of it's a passive coupler. But apart from that, it's very, very, very well made. And Neil, 3BCU, gave me these. He gave me 4 back years and years ago. And I had them in the drawer. And we had other trials. We tried some of the satellite mixing units, which didn't really work out too well, but putting these in has worked out quite well. So coming in here is the antenna feed. That would be the feed directly from the preamps, and then the preamps just go directly to the receive antennas. And you can see here we've got 2 outputs. Now this output here is flaking around into here and into this box, and this is the box that converts the 1200 T signal to down to the domestic port. So looking at the output of the down converter, which is out here, you can see that it snakes around and it goes into the domestic port of the combo receiver, and we're going in about channel 29, so we're taking in 12, in this case 1278, and 1278 DVB-T comes in here, and then we down convert to channel 29 and it goes into the tuner here. This lead here is going directly in to the satellite port, and that's simply a DC blocker. And you might say, why have you got a DC blocker there? Because you can turn the DC off with a menu, but these ones don't want to do that. You go into the menu and you turn the DC supply off the satellite port here, and it doesn't turn off. So I've had to put a DC blocker there. So, and here we've just got a splitter with 12 volts in there and 12 volts in there, so they're both running on 12 volts DC. And if you were looking at the front, that's what it looks like from the front. So all of the stuff, the connections there is at the back. And you would see, just in the normal sequence, if there's no signals there, you'd see this thing changing from channel 1, which is the satellite port, to channel 2, which is the domestic port. With these receivers, you can put the domestic or the satellite port on any channel you like. So that was something that was quite handy, we found. The actual down converter idea came from Rob, 3TRX, and what arrived in the mail one day was one of these from him. And what a great idea that was. So we had to implement it somehow or other and get the thing polling. Around the back there is another connector. You can probably see this one here. That's a DIN connector, and that provides that lead goes to the controllers. The receive signal ports out there, but also the RS-232 control signal goes in there, which is creating the polling, and that lead is just a white lead that goes to the controllers. And most of you have seen inside the way in which we actually cut the infrared lead that's going to the main the main board, or it's actually a TTL level by then, but it's the infrared signals. We just cut that and then insert our own controller into that, and that's how we get the thing polling. So that's the receiver. The other thing I've got to show tonight is something that I bought, and something that I actually built a little bit earlier, but this is the Rolls-Royce version of it. And you can remember the prong that you can use to measure small surface mount capacitors. Well, this is the Rolls-Royce version of it. We can activate it, and you turn it on and it boots up, and it's got a really nice display. And if I put my fingers in there you are. It's telling me I'm a few picofarads. So it will do, of course, surface mount components very, very well. So this is the Rolls-Royce version of the kit that originally Silicon Chip put out, and the display is much bigger, and it does have some other functions as well. And it wasn't very much money either. It's just one of those things that you can buy these days. So there we are. I've got two now. I've got the little kit one up there, but this one happens to be a bit more accurate, and the display is certainly a lot brighter and a lot bigger. So there we are. That's all I've got for tonight. So I was just hoping that people were interested in seeing the receive systems that we use up there at the moment. So I think it's back to RTV1 and Neil. So over to you there, Neil.
Right, thanks for that, Peter. Just make sure I do have audio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, with the audio, I did a master reset on the ATEM switcher during the week, and that reset everything, including all the photos I had set up in the ATEM. They've all gone. I've got to put them back in, and all the audio settings went all kaput. I didn't realise that till just before the net that the audio had been totally messed up, so that's why the audio isn't quite right. Now, if you're wondering what's inside that down converter that Pico had, that's exactly what's inside it. There's a mixer, and that's a PLL there, PLL oscillator, the mixer, so you've got the RF comes in here off an antenna. That's just a sample antenna, of course. The oscillator, it's mixed up, and then that goes to the set-top box there. So that's all that's in that box. And thanks to Rob VK3 TRX that came up with this great idea, fantastic little device, PLL, mixer, and in fact that's the same sort of unit I use to upconvert from the actual transmitter I'm using at the moment, a domestic DVB-T modulator, which is upconverted using just the reverse of what the down converter does on that receiver. Now Joe VK3 TET is going to come up after the net. He's got a very interesting video segment on the, excuse me, I've got to get a glass of water. My mouth goes very dry. Yeah, there's Simon Brown has been playing with this SDR TV, which he developed. I think Rob VK3IE has been putting a few videos on. I think also Ian did something. Well, Joe VK3TET, after the net, is going to get a very detailed video on how it all works, and apparently, according to Joe, it's one of the easiest ways to get onto not RTV at the moment, but certainly narrowband ATV. In fact, talking about narrowband ATV, I was playing with Dennis on narrowband ATV just yesterday on the 447 megahertz 333 symbol rate, something like that. So Peter will correct me, I know. Okay then, so stand by for Joe at the end of the net for a reasonably long video on SDR TV, so I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. Now coming up now will be Ian VK3QL, and then Ian, if you could put it across to Mick VK3CH, and then across to John VK3ATV, and then back to me. I think that's all I've got to say. I think I've covered all the bases. So take it away, Ian VK3QL. I'm on T, so it's going to be a nasty cutover. So take it away, Ian.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children. This emblem that you've just seen is tonight the symbol of a historic occasion, the opening of the national television service.
Right, here I am, wandering around. Yes, thanks Neil for that, and yeah, great work on the analogue resurrection. Yeah, it's great fun. It's finding CRT television sets would be the challenge for many, but it's great that people have got them and can reuse them. Also, there's going to be an evening with about SRT television, because the first clip that I've got is Simon. He did some short segments on the last QO100. So I clipped a few of his segments together. His full segments, he did 3 segments in the last Thursday's QO100 BATC net, and that's up on my YouTube channel if you wish to look up the full view of what transpired. The project took 18 months. Simon worked on it for 18 months and had spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on purchasing technical documentation and acquiring hardware and all of that, so to get to this stage. And currently he states it as being a proof of concept, a beta release. Initial reports are extremely promising, in fact so promising that there's been no bug fix produced to address any immediate field testing problems. There has been emphasis on install and operating procedures. There's a manual. So if you want to play around with it, it's applying the RTFM rule for reading the manual. I won't explain the acronym. It's over 50 pages. There is a quick guide, but the experience of others seems to indicate that if you do run into problems, you'll need to go through the manual. There's a lot of components and subsystems in the setup, and well, I would say most people have got it up and running. However, some need to get a gentle reminder about some key bits that they've overlooked. Software is going to be the way forward on DATV, I would suggest, and I think Simon supports that and has proven it, I think. The segment from last Thursday's net, the 25th of April, I'm clipped out the need for software developers to have a thick hide, why he's developed it on the Windows development platform and not Linux or any other platform. He touches on the minimum PC specs, which are not that rigorous really in the scheme of things, and how he's measuring things like frame rate and the challenges that presents. His other QO100 segment covered lip sync issues, challenges for the SRT, and DATV for trying to achieve lip sync, picture quality, and FFmpeg legal nightmares using that module in DATV. So if you want to look at the rest of those segments that I just mentioned, those last three, then it's on my YouTube channel from the QO100 net. All right, without rabbiting on too much more, here is Simon.
Right, good evening. Thanks for all the feedback. One thing you have to be when you write software like this, which is first of all free, you have to be very, very thick-skinned. And just at the moment not using NVIDIA Broadcast, just back onto straight OBS Studio. I'm being harassed by the hairy hound. This is very much a proof of concept. This idea of doing this originated care of Graham, G3VZV, who's in AMSAT UK. There was talk about there maybe being a satellite which would be transmitting data through DVB-S2, but of course the amateur community didn't have a DVB-S2 receiver. Well, not strictly true. SDR Angel supports this, of course. Anyway, that's what got me going into this, and one important aspect of amateur radio is education. Now, although this is software is in absolutely everything. So it's about education and educating me. It's been a tremendous learning curve. I knew nothing at all about either DVB and S2, T2, whatever, and also just video in general, H.264, H.265. I knew about audio, knew about spectrums and things, and fast Fourier transforms. So it has been an amazing learning curve. Right, now, the debate about Windows. If you're a software developer, you'll find Windows is absolutely superbly good. Documentation, complete, squillions of examples, and the program, the IDE, Integrated Development Environment I use, is called Visual Studio. It's a pleasure to work with it, it really is. And I've got nothing against other platforms like Linux. They have their place, but considering what we're doing here with all the programs I've got just running on at the moment, I would not be able to do that with Linux. Keith on the channel islands referring to CPUs and low spec. My goal was that it should run on something like an N100, N150 x86 based system, and I think it does. It runs okay on my 4th generation laptop, which is an i7 4770. It's 4 cores, 8 threads, but not a particularly fast machine, and it runs acceptably on that. So that's good. So there we go. That's my feedback on this. And the value you see in the diagnostics in SDR television, that's me actually measuring the frame rate that are received in the compressed stream H.264 and H.265. There is metadata, if you like, which tells me what the encoded frame rate is. But that assumes all the encoded frames get sent over. Yeah. So the value you see on the screen of SDR television is me measuring, very cleverly, the frame rate that comes over. Well, have a good night. Bye-bye. G4 ELI.
Right. Right. Now the TechMind Matt TechMind, who's got a web channel on YouTube, has done a program on that, on the SDR television and the beta release, and it's very interesting, and so it goes into a lot more detail. So if you want to get across the details of what it does, how you might use it, that would be the place to go. TechMind, yes, I think it is. SDR Television V1.0 would find it. All right, let's go. Right, so that's, I won't dwell anymore on DATV television, DATV, SRT television software, but just a reminder that Joe will be showing a longer video after the nets, at the conclusion of the formal proceedings of the net, so stick around for that. I'm sure it'll be very interesting. Right, the next thing is the next Hamfest that I'm aware of in Melbourne. So it's on Saturday the 10th of May, 11 more sleeps to go before Saturday the 10th of May at the Kingston City Hall, the usual venue. So great event, I believe, and always go to it.
Have you tried the repeater in the sky recently? Let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
KY testing access. Echo Mike. VK7 Delta Whiskey, VK6 Mike Elliot. Fine business, and but you were quite clear. K5 Charlie Papa. VK7DW. G'day Andrew. VK3 Echo Juliet. 3J. India Romeo Mobile listening. VK3 Delta Romeo Hotel. VK4 Echo Mexico. Executive Log 2 Sierra.
Yeah, the packet system is temporarily stowed at the moment, so that's not available. And also, think about receiving ham TV from the ISS when it's installed. So go to the BATC site for information on how you might do that.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
Let's have a quiz.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
So if you missed it the first time, I gave it to you again. All right, so yeah, it's to make up lost ground. I haven't shown that promotion for Clint's ASV broadcast, so we're making up lost opportunities. All right, I'll pass it on to Mick VK3CH over in faraway Doncaster, and with my standard outro, so I'll drop carrier after the K, Mick, so you can start transmitting then. Catch you soon, and thanks for watching. And we have 15 on YouTube at this point in time. Yeah, so David, Stephen, Claudio, and yeah, that's all that's come up on the chat. Catch you soon.
Alright, and let's see, we should have audio. Yes, we do. Okay, that took longer than I thought, but anyway, okay, we're here, all good. And yes, on RF, so hopefully that continues. I've made no changes here, but we'll take it. Alright, interesting with the analog video. The what's growing?
Your beard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, oh yeah, every month the missus says we're due to have that sorted, so it's near the end of the month, so probably election weekend we'll have something done. Yes, the only thing about here is putting out video. I don't have a rotator. Actually, I do have two under the house, but the logistics of putting that up, and we're in a dip, I don't think we'd really get far, but I did have an analog television somewhere. I think I've still got it. I can't remember now. I haven't seen it for a while. That'd be under the house as well. Speaking of under the house, we haven't done a lot of work on the TV, the relay situation. I decided to get a new what do you call them, buck converters, because all the ones I've got here, you know, that they don't have any markings on them. So I thought, for the sake of $5, I might as well get one that is going to do exactly what I want to do, because, you know, my paranoia of damaging this transmitter and then I'm not on air at all. I thought, yeah, for $5, and we'll put it in and then feed the relays. What else was I going to tell you? Yeah, and the reason we haven't done is we're still waiting for it to turn up in the mail. Plus, We went and took a whole heap of, oh well, I'll call it rubbish. Well, no. Unwanted items. There you are, nicer word. Unwanted items to another ham radio guy who was interested in them. And when I was there, I thought, well, I'll hang around and stay for a few days since it was a bit of a journey. So that's also another reason we haven't been back to do any work. This buck converter thing should turn up in the mail very soon. They give you limited tracking. It basically just says it's arrived in your country, so, and it's cleared customs, so I don't think that would take too much longer. Although the device costs what, $4 something, and postage is like 50 or 40 cents of that component apparently. So how it gets posted a third of the way around the world for that much money, and not on a slow boat. I'm not sure how they do it. Well, I suppose it doesn't weigh much, but anyway, I'm not sure of all the logistics, but there you go. What other news have I got for you? Not a lot really. So hopefully next week we'll have these two relays going. One's for to automatically mute the TV, which is going, and the other one, which it doesn't have enough power to supply, is just the on-air sign. So if the XY ever wonders, oh, are you actually live to air on television, she can see the sign. Otherwise it's not really that important, but anyway, she's usually pretty cautious when she wanders down the corridor, but anyway. Alright, yeah, that's about all I've really got. So I believe I'm passing it over to John, ATV in Williamstown, and he's probably on T as well. I'm on T, but I did have a bit of a gap, I don't know why. So John, if you want to fire it up, and yeah, we should be around next week with maybe less fur. We'll see what happens. Alright, over to John, VK3 ATV to take. Cheers all.
Good evening, everyone. John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Done a few things here in the ATV jack. I'll take these off. They're probably glaring in the light. The first one is wireless microphone, lapel microphone. I'm not sure how it's performing. There's been a few different video levels from people tonight, so might be a bit difficult to work out whether it's too loud or too soft, but pretty good. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Just a little bit too loud.
A little bit too loud. Okay. I'll turn that down a bit. How's that? That looks a little better.
Yep, much better.
Yep. Okay, thank you. So that's pretty good. It comes with two microphones and the receiver. So that's one of the microphones. And I'll give you a quick look at where I got that from. Make sure I've still got audio. Yes, I have. So not very expensive at all. So if you're interested in getting that wireless microphone, that's a pretty good deal, I thought, and seems to work quite well. The other thing I wanted to remind everyone while I've got the screen share on is the Bendigo AGM, the WA AGM on the Saturday this weekend, and the Bendigo Technology Festival on the Sunday. So I'll be heading up on the Sunday. I've got other things to do on Saturday, unfortunately, but I'll head up on the Sunday. So that'll be, I think that'll be a good event. Okay, what else have I been doing? I've been playing with my DATV Express unit. Last time I was on the net, I said I was changing the blue chip amplifier that I'd blown up. So I modified a new one, put that in, and that doesn't work either. I know Neil's had a lot of experience with the blue chip or the blue module amplifiers, so I might have to catch up with him later on in the week and have a chat about what the options are. I have ordered another couple of modules. So that's one thing. A bit disappointing that the ATV Express, so my DVB-S transmitter isn't functioning. The other thing I've been playing with, or still continuing to play with, is the ports down 4 with the Pluto. I have managed to get that with video through the repeater. There are a couple of little tricks, but I've only been able to get the PiCam to work at the moment, and to make the PiCam work, you have to make sure you've got an audio dongle plugged in, USB audio dongle. It does say that in the instructions, but it definitely won't work unless you've got that in. So I managed to get audio and video through with the PiCam, and I've been trying to play with some external video in without using a streamer, just directly in. So my first attempt was with the EasyCap, although it's a copy. It's not actual EasyCap brand. Copy composite video to USB. I've got 2 of those, and neither of them worked. So I've failed there. I've tried running HDMI. It's a HDMI mini into the Raspberry Pi. So I tried HDMI video, no good. And I've also tried a HDMI capture card into USB, and I couldn't get that to work either. So I really did want to use composite video, but I've ordered the composite video card from the VATC store now, which they guarantee works. So what I'm trying to do is get that ports down 4 as a portable unit, so I don't have to drag a computer around with it. So we'll keep trying that and see if I can get that to be a standalone unit. It'll be quite a small unit when it's complete. I've shown you this before, but I'll just give you a look at the setup. So that's the Raspberry Pi and display. That's the Pluto, the amplifier, and the boost converter for the 30 volts. So that's it, and that gives me around about 2 watts out, and that's all that's required. So hopefully, if I get the external video to work, that'll be a standalone unit. All right, so been reasonably busy in the shack, thanks to taking the week off between Easter and Anzac Day, like a lot of people did. Had me quite a bit of time to do some house painting to keep the household happy, and to be able to get some time to come out into the garage or the shack, garage/shack. So that's it from me. So I think I'll hand back to Neil. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned. I'll tell you how I go with the ports down 4 and Pluto. I know there's been a lot of other activity there, so we're constantly trying to get options for people who are keen to get into amateur television, and fairly easy options. Okay, so back to you, Neil. I'll put my thanks for watching on and then I'll drop off. So thanks everyone, and good night.
Right, thanks, John.
ATV, if you copy there, John, if you
See, I've got the right level of audio. I've been playing with the audio levels while John was on. Just wait till the chatter just drops off. Anyway, John, this is for you. I'll just get this down a bit. Those USB adapters, the one you're getting from the BATC, they do work, but unfortunately the video quality is not real flash, but they do work. But what I do recommend, they're not cheap, is the Elgato Cam Link. I think it's the Elgato Cam Link, and they work. They're not cheap though, but that's the one to get. If you want to spend a bit of money, that will work, and it works quite well. So, but the USB ones unfortunately don't work. They work, but the quality is not quite there. And the blue modules, yeah, look, it's luck of the draw with those. I've had a fair bit of success. I was going to say I've got spare modules here that you could have. Seeing you've done favours for me, but seeing you've already ordered some. Okay, that's the end of the net. Now please stand by for Joe VK3TET. He's got a reasonably long video on that SDR TV, so I'm going to be watching it. And also next week, I won't do it this week because Joe's straight on after the net. We'll be closing that very, very shortly. But I want to try a bit of a callback. Not so much a callback, but if people have got questions on what's being presented during the course of the net, maybe something about what Peter showed or maybe what I showed, they can come up on the net and on 2 metres and ask any questions they like. So I'll start that next week. Won't do it this week because Joe's coming on straight after I sign off. So please stand by for Joe VK3TET. We'll see you all next week. I hope to get up to Bendigo on Sunday, although I'm not 100% sure. I've got something happening that may or may not prevent me from getting up there, but I will try and get up there. So see you all next week, and stand by for Joe VK3TET. It's going to come up right now. Cheers.
Welcome, and I hope you find this segment interesting. I've put something together on SDR television. Some of you are well familiar with it. Those guys who specifically watch the BATC net. Simon Brown, the developer of SDR console, developed a program called SDR television. And yeah, this is what I'm going to show you guys. So let's just have a look at it. Very easy. Let's just go to SDR radio. This is Simon's homepage. He probably used his program, SDR console, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. So have a look at this. If you scroll down his site, you'll see SDR television. So this is it. There's a beta 2 that is released. So let's have a look at it. If we have a look at SDR television, major update, well, he fixed some of the bugs, but you guys can read all that. I'm not going to go through it. The main thing that I would like to demonstrate is how to get it up and running. That's Simon, by the way. What you have to do, just follow up to this point. There's two things that you have to download. One of them is actually SDR radio, which is an independent program, and then there's SDR television. Now, I suspect that Simon does quite a lot of the lifting in his SDR radio, and SDR television sits on top of it. So you have to go choose your preferred thing. Like for me, for argument's sake, if Microsoft Drive, you go in here. Never done this before, so I don't know what's going to happen. Oh gosh, what the hell is it doing? Anyway, there we go. So you just download it. I've already done that, so I'm not going to carry on with that. And you do the same thing for SDR television. So you download both of those devices, or programs, I should say. So once you've done that, there we go. You then install them. To install them is pretty straightforward, and if you're successful, you will get this. You will get a little icon for SDR television, a console, and you get an icon for SDR TV. Okay, so that's the first step. Another very important thing for everybody to consider. Simon's got very good documentation, so if you go back to his site sdrtelevision.com and go to the SDR Television Beta 1 tab. So let me just go back and I'll show you. That's his website, right? That's his homepage. Okay. Scroll down and you'll see these recent blog posts. Click on SDR Television Beta 1 and scroll down and you'll see something very important. Reading the user guide is highly recommended. Okay, so click here and download the PDF. So this is the PDF here, and have a look at the brilliant documentation that Simon created. Okay, and highly recommended that you guys read all of it. Just, you don't have to set anything up, don't have to run the program. Just get this PDF. Start reading it before you even get your hands dirty, so to speak. And there's got a lot of information there about what he's doing, how he's implementing it, etc., etc. So I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm guilty because I had a quick skim through it. It's only when I'm doing this video that I'm actually looking into it in a much deeper way. So yeah, it is very good, and like I said, it's definitely worth reading it. So I hope you guys have a good look through it. I'm just scrolling through it just to show you the complexity of it. Yeah, well done, Simon. The old thing, read the manual first. I think with this particular software, although it's very intuitive and relatively easy to set up, there's a few fine things that you will learn by looking at the manual. So next thing is that you've got to install OBS Studio. Okay, now OBS Studio is being used by SDR Television. I've already installed it. I'll show you guys how to install it, so stand by for now, but I'll show you what the studio does. So if we have a look at it now, the whole idea is that you've got to have some sort of an input into the SDR television, and the way that we get the input is via OBS. Okay, you can have a direct input like a webcam or something like that, and SDR television will recognize that. You'll see that later. I'll show you that. But for now, we've got OBS. So this is me here with my laptop. and at the moment you're watching the OBS. I've got that open in another window which is being captured. So essentially, when you successfully installed OBS, you'll also have a thing called virtual camera. Okay, I'm not using that at the moment. I'm just using my OBS without that at the moment. So let's just leave it for that for now. I've defined a special scene called SDR television. I've got a couple of text things here, which is my load, my call sign, some sort of a descriptor of what I'm showing. I've got my video capture device, which is my Logitech C920 camera, and this is it. That's how it's defined. And when you've installed your virtual camera module in OBS, you'll be able to do that. So you've defined that camera, and essentially that is live. And then I've also got a test card. At the moment you can't see the test card, but let's just bring it up and you will be able to see it. So there's my test card. So if I do a transition, there's my test card now. That's going live. Actually, this is actually going through SDR television, but you guys can't see it at the moment. I'll show you that in a few minutes. So that's basically it. Let's go back to the capture. Let's move that up. Oh, it's easier doing it here. I've just been dragging it. So that's basically it. So now, if we go back to my screen, we will start SDR television. Let's just minimize that for now. Let's just start SDR television. Now, let's assume you don't have an SDR and you've just downloaded SDR television as depicted before, and you've installed it, and you've got OBS set up, and you've got your webcam, etc. So essentially you could say, you know, there's my OBS, I've got my webcam here, you know, the image is working. Now, I do have an SDR, but just to prove a point, I'm going to unplug it from my laptop. So there we go. My SDR now is removed, okay? I've got no place to put it, so I'm just going to leave it there, but it's not connected, okay? So let's just go back to SDR television and pretend we've just literally fired it up. Now, we're not going to select a radio because we don't have one, okay? But we're going to go and select loopback. Now, loopback will enable us to essentially mimic the whole transmission. In other words, we could test everything, and what it's doing, it's actually generating IQ data, and it's actually, normally that would be used to do the transmission into the SDR, so we can generate some RF. But what's happening is that it's feeding it back to the receiver chain of the software. So the receiver is picking up the IQ data. It's not picking up RF, it's just picking up the IQ data and displaying it. Ideally, we're getting a perfect picture. We're getting a perfect, you know, from a transmission to reception, we're using the same data, the same IQ data. So technically there's no loss in there. So this is what it's doing. So we still do the same thing. We start the stream. We can see our image here. Like there's our image. That's sort of live. And if we start transmitting, there's no SDR, but nevertheless, we do have a transmission. And everything works as though we have RF, okay? So you could sort of see that our MER is 32, which is much better. We were getting 25 before with RF, but that's our image. There's that constellation, everything's the same. This is a very handy feature, and for those of you that don't have an SDR, you can still play with SDR television. You can configure it, you can experiment with it, and you can make sure that it's working. and then you're set to go. As soon as you get your SDR, you can then literally just configure the SDR, and all the other settings, everything else will be fine. You know, it'll work. So that's a really good feature. I thought I'd just show you guys. Loop back, don't forget. Now, if we disable this, we can now disable the loop back, and that's it. Normally, if we try to start this without loop back, there is no radio, so it'll probably fail. You see, it either gives us a choice to use loop back or to start the radio. Now, I've literally switched off my SDR or unplugged it, so I can't do that. Anyway, I hope you can get the idea. Fantastic feature, and well done, Simon. And we're going to start SDR television from scratch. So this is how it comes up, okay? First thing you've got to do is define your SDR. Now, I've actually got a Libra SDR, and you guys will see it in a minute. It's just literally just beside. I'll switch back to my OBS so you can see it. There's my Libra SDR. That's it here. It's just sitting there next to my laptop. So USB going from there, going into the laptop. That's all you need. An antenna, and as well. And I've got an antenna for the receive as well. Okay, so that's basically it. So we'll go back to this. So essentially that's already defined. Now, you've got to define the bandwidth as well. You'll see Simon at the moment's disabled TX for all the bandwidths set above 3 megahertz. Not sure why, there must be a good reason, but at the moment they're not enabled. I've actually bumped this up to the highest that I can go, which is 2.688. So that's what it is. And I've selected Libra SDR, and that's basically my device, which is here, and I click start. So essentially it is starting my SDR with all the drivers and so forth. Now, when that's running, the next thing that we do, and before we go to do that, if you have a look at the software, right at the top, Simon's got a section called links, which is really handy. So when you install SDR television and you fire it up, don't worry too much about the SDR for now. You'll see all sorts of links here. So basically, you've got the most important bit, the home page for OBS. So if you haven't even installed OBS yet, it's all there. Just click on that and click on Windows. Unfortunately, SDR television runs on Windows only, so you'll have to install OBS on Windows as well. So essentially, I'm not going to do this, but you click on this and it'll download the appropriate software, and you just follow it through. All default, nothing else, okay? So let's get out of that, and then the next thing you do is click on the virtual cam, right? Again, Simon's got the link straight into the actual GitHub repository, and that is the latest. So what we do, we go to this section here, latest beta, not beta, the latest 2.12, click on that, and here we've got that software. So you want the first one, the installer.exe, okay? Click on that, download it, install it, okay? Once you've done that, we will end up back to this. We will have an icon here, and we will have another one for SDR television. And if you installed OBS correctly, you'll get that as well. So those are the three things that will appear on your desktop, okay? So for now, let's go back. When we start SDR television, I've just done it, that's what you will get, okay? And if you've defined your radio, that will be enabled. So you'll get this page, right? Next thing you do is you go to the transmit section, and here you can select various things. Now, I've got my C920 plugged into the laptop for the sake of OBS, okay? But this detects it as well, so I could use that directly without OBS. Let's just do that. If I click on that, well, actually, it's not going to come up straight away. Let's just leave it for OBS. I'll show you guys in a minute the other thing. So basically, when you select OBS, you've got to select OBS camera, not OBS virtual camera, just OBS camera. You should get that coming up as well. And my OBS is set for 1920 by 1080, and the output I'm getting out of OBS is 50 frames. So that's what I'm setting, okay? So that's set. The rest of it, for my microphone, I'm using the microphone from the webcam, okay? So I set that. Everything else default, haven't touched anything else, okay? My drive level is at minus 40 dB, I'm not touching that. Now the only thing I've done, I've gone to presets here, and in the presets you've got 1280 megahertz. It's not exactly what we use 1287, but it's in that band. So that's the preset, so it saves us fumbling. It'll work just as well with the 87. So 1280 is set. Now modulation is QP, or constellation is QPSK. And at the moment, the symbol rate, the highest we can set is 1000, okay? I've made a request via the forum for Simon to see if he can bump up this thing to 4000. I don't think it's an easy thing to do, and there's a reason why he left it at 1000. But the request is there, and if we're lucky, it may be simple, and we will be able to get 4K. And if we get 4000 kilosymbols, we will be able to get into RTV with this setup. So for now, let's just carry on. So we've got frequency, we've got the symbols, we've got the FEC, everything else, don't worry about. On the receive side, once you've set that on the transmit, the receive would be pre-populated with the same settings. Okay, so I've got the QPSK. Well, actually, no, I've set it for the same settings. It's important that you set it for the same settings. Frequency, constellation, symbol rates, okay? Once you've done that, we're ready to roll. So what we do now, we start the stream by pressing that. When that happens and everything is successful, you'll get the video popping up. This video is from my OBS. You can see my overlays, okay? And you've also got the modulation for the audio. You can actually see the spectrum there. Hello, see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, on the receive side, nothing is happening because we're not transmitting. When we click on this send button, it'll start transmitting. So hopefully we can see a constellation here, and an image is just popped up. And if you guys can see on SDR television, my little spectrum analyzer, can you see? This is live, okay? We can see the spectrum on SDR television, but this is the actual live spectrum on, hang on, I'll put it in front of the camera, that you can see live on the little Tiny SA Ultra. So that's our little haystack for what we're transmitting right now. So bottom line is, if we got 4000 kilosymbols and we've got 1287 and you've got your amplifier, or you're close to the repeater, you're on air. It's as simple as that. Now, this is really great because this device is full duplex. So essentially the image that we see on the screen right here is from the receiver. It is actually picking this up because our SDR has a transmitter and a receiver. The analog device is AD9361, the radio chip. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys. This is my Pluto, which uses the same radio chip, which is this device down here. But the Libra SDR comes in a nice extruded aluminium case, which you can see down here. That's a really neat device down there, and it's quite robust. I'll just bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see it. It's really neat. It's a nice little box. It's like a little brick, and it costs as much as this PCB on its own, which is the Pluto. So it's not exactly the same as the Pluto in terms of software, but it does work with this particular SDR television. And a lot of the guys in BATCnet, they have been using the Libra SDR. It's the recommended device. So what happens is that when we've set this up, we've got full duplex, which is really great because we are now monitoring the receive side at the same time that we're transmitting. So it's as simple as that. So here we've got all the details. You can see the actual decode status. We've got 1000 kilobits per second. We've got the QPSK. We've got the FEC of 4.5. The frame is normal, no pilots, etc. The MER, margins, all of this sort of stuff. It's even got the service. You got to put in your call sign when you're setting things up. Otherwise, things are not going to work. I actually haven't not covered that, but whilst we're here, let's just have a quick look at it. Here it is to set your things up when you fire up SDR television. You should really go to this little cogwheel at the top, and when you click on it, you'll get the settings. A lot of it you don't have to do, it just shows you, but one of the things you have to do is click on the transmit configuration, and you've got to enter your call sign here, otherwise it won't transmit. Okay, so that's basically it. Yep. One other thing is that when you guys set up your SDRs, the firmware for the Libra SDR should be the latest version of the Tezuka firmware, which is on GitHub. You may need to access this. So if we go to Tezuka releases, GitHub, that's basically it. Our friend F5OEO, he's the guy who's developing this. So essentially, you've got to get the latest version of that firmware. And there are various versions of it. As a matter of fact, you should be using this firmware anyway, but you can use it on your regular Pluto. If you're going to have a regular Pluto that you're going to use with SDR television, you can download this Pluto.zip here. In my case, I had to download Libra SDR. Okay, so that's the link of how to get the latest firmware. I suggest you do that because Simon may be using certain features that are in the latest firmware. I had a problem, as a matter of fact, and I had to upgrade to the latest firmware, and my problem was solved. Essentially, my full duplex wasn't, well, I wasn't getting constellation, even though it was transmitting. The receiver was not receiving it in a full duplex mode, okay? So there we go. It had something to do with the firmware. Okay, so that's it, guys. I thought I'd just add that in there just for you guys to see what's going on. Okay, I thought that there'd be some merit in exploring whether SDR television, particularly with the Libra SDR, will work directly on a network. Now, in theory, yes, of course it should. The Libra can be accessed via the network. And if you guys, let me just put it back onto the OBS screen. You can see the Libra down here, and I've got it connected. Let's bring it a little bit closer. I've got it connected to a network port. At the moment, this is the USB interface. I'm pulling it out. It's not necessary. This is literally just power going into the Libra, just to power the unit, okay, from a separate USB power supply, not connected to the computer at all. So that's the setup, and let's see if we can fire it up and run it from the network. What does this mean? It means that the Libra can be far away from the laptop that's running SDR television. It could be right next to your amplifier or antenna, etc., etc. So essentially it could be at a remote location, very much the same as the Pluto setup that we've been using before with the RTMP stream. So what's the advantage? Well, it's great. You can have a laptop sitting in the living room there and getting all your favorite content ready, fire up Simon's SDR television and hook up to your transmitter, which is the Pluto or the Libra SDR, as it is in my case, and you can directly broadcast. So that's a very good detached way of broadcasting. In theory it should work. Let's see if it does. Okay, so what I've got here, let's go back to SDR television, and we're going to start or select the radio. So here we've got the Libra SDR, and we're going to start it up and seeing if SDR TV detects the SDR. Looks like it's going to connect. So bingo, we're connected. So here we've got some information in the log. It's connected. Now let's stream and see what happens. We're getting a constellation. We're getting RF output. If we have a look here, you can see there is RF. It's not brilliant. There's some sort of a spur going in and out, and I think that's the problem why we're getting such a messy constellation. If you have a look at the screen, we'll see in a minute. So it is connected, that's not a problem, but it's losing stuff, or there's something wrong with the data going in there. If you look at the log, I'm not going to debug it, but it's trying to connect. Constellation looks all messy, as you can see. We can vary things with the constellation by varying the RX and TX filters. So let's just drop this a little bit and see what happens to the constellation. It's connected again. Well, it's still not there. It's trying, but it's not getting there. I'm not going to go any further. It's another area for investigation, but I just wanted to show you that this device in theory does work over the network, and it will be cool if we can make it work. It could be my local setup, or it could be something else. So I thought that's worthy of note, and I hope that information is put to good use. Just getting back to the network connection, I thought it's probably worthwhile recording the log for a few minutes, or for a while at least, so anybody watching this video can actually see what's going on. It looks like there's some sort of an overflow in a buffer. Maybe because it's on the network, there's some sort of handshaking that is not same as it is on the local. I'm not sure. But I hope this information is good feedback for Simon if it ever reaches him. That's basically it for this. Yeah, so basically we're up and running. The level, see, the receiver is really close to the transmitter, and even though I've got a minus 40 dB output from my SDR, it is still overloading the receiver to some respects. So essentially we can see the spectrum which is blown out here at the bottom. Okay, if we have a look at I'm going to switch off the developer so we can see the full image of that. It's blown out, so there is a way of controlling that indirectly, and it sort of works a little bit. We've got the manual gain, and if we drop this down a little bit, it should affect that. You can see the spectrum dropping, and I think the visual controls Not really, yeah. Okay, so you can actually see it. That's a sort of haystack. It's not sampling this brilliantly, but nevertheless, it's giving us some indication of what's going on in the receiver. This can be fine-tuned, by the way. For now, I don't really care, so I'm just leaving it as it is. So that's it, guys. We've got Constellation, we've got our live audio. I've muted it, otherwise we're going to get some feedback. Just to show you guys that it works, I'll unmute it. Here we go. You can probably hear it. Now we're getting some feedback. Anyway, let's just mute it again. Yeah, so this is it. This is a really quick way of getting up and running for you guys to see how SDR television works. Highly recommend it. It's not exactly the same as what we've been doing with the Pluto. Totally different. This requires an application to run on top of OBS on your PC. Whereas what we're doing, we're accessing the Pluto via the network or USB if you've got it directly connected to your PC. And all we need is essentially, we're streaming to the Pluto, which is not what we're doing here.
Just to clarify, I thought I'd add this comment. A little bit different. With the Pluto, we've got a RTMP stream that the Pluto decodes and transmits. The stream can be generated with several devices. It could be a OBS, it could be a ATEM Mini, it could be an OC Ghost Stream, or it could be even a hardware encoder like the Zoe box. All of these devices are capable of generating RTMP streams, and the Pluto will decode those. Very different to what's happening here. SDR television needs this specific application. This is the software, and the software generates all the interface and data for the SDR to transmit. I hope that clarifies.
Okay, this is a different sort of setup. It's got its own advantages, and it's very simple. If it all works, and don't forget, this is proof of concept. Simon's just created this. It does work, of course, and if you know how to use it, you can sort of work around the sort of things that may not be implemented or may not even work properly. But right now, it is a very functional bit of software, and for QO100 stuff, it works. End of story. For us, it doesn't work. However, having said that, there's nothing stopping you guys going out in the field or even from your shack. If you've got a 70 SEMS amplifier.
Another little slip up I thought I'd just need to correct. We don't have to operate on 70 SEMS. We can operate on any legal amateur radio frequencies which are allocated for amateur television. The SDR has a very wide band, and we can dial up any frequency, so we're not limited to 70 SEMS or 23 SEMS. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
And you've got the appropriate antennas. We can be streaming or broadcasting, I should say, this particular image to anybody who can pick it up. So right now I'm doing it on 1287, as you can see on the spectrum down here. But there's nothing stopping me doing that on one of the presets here, which is 437. So yeah, and we don't have to use 4 kilosymbols.
Another little slip up. What I meant to say is 4,000 kilosymbols for RTV use. Everything else is not necessary because simplex we don't have to use 4,000 kilosymbols.
We can use 333 or whatever, anything up to even 1,000. At the moment, my image that I've got on the screen here is 1,000 kilosymbols, which is the highest that it will go. There is a bit of a lag, like if I put my hand up here, you can see it appearing, and on the screen now it'll appear again. It's the sort of endless thing going screen into screen, but you can actually see the appropriate delay. So when I pull my hand, which I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 seconds delay. God knows what's happening there, but it's obviously a delay. Yeah, now let's just switch back to OBS, and I'll show you guys what you need to set up here. Nothing very difficult if you're familiar with OBS already, but I've set up a scene called SDR television, which you can see here. And in there, I've got a text field, which is my call sign. I've got another text field at the top, which tells me what I'm transmitting, like a little bit of a message. Then I've got my capture, which is what I'm showing you guys now, which is via the Logitech camera. And then I've got a test card, which is something that, my test card, which is essentially a graphic. So that's it down there. The rest of it is pretty much the same as anything else. If I do a transition, that's it. That's live now on SDR television. So if we go here, you can see that SDR television is now showing my test card. Yeah, that's basically it. So if I switch it back so you can see the live view, let me go and change this back to I'm sort of cheating so you guys can see the video by doing this. That's going to go live, but I'm going to switch back to SDR television without you guys seeing me doing the transition. So now I've done the transition, and you'll see that this will appear. That's it. That's how long it took. So essentially, it is switching it live, but we don't see it because I can only show you one. I don't want to have OBS and SDR television on the same screen, so I'm switching between the two screens. Otherwise, it'll be so titsy bitsy, nothing will be visible. So that's it, guys. I hope you find this segment interesting. A little bit of a hands-on demonstration. It's pretty straightforward to set it up. I highly recommend that you download it, play with it, join the forum, and post some comments. Any feedback that Simon gets about bugs or anything like that, I'm sure that he'll appreciate that. So highly recommend doing that. And if I actually have a look at, I think there's a forum here. I'll just show you guys how we can get in there. Where is that? To do support user forum. There we go. Let's just go full screen here. So if we have a look at the forums, SDR television. So at the moment there's not much activity. There's only 3 posts. One of them is mine, which is this one here. And I just basically asked Simon if he can do the 4 killer symbols, and looks like Rob 3IE's also put a comment there. So there we go. Maybe more guys can put comments there. I don't know how easy it is to do it. If it's easy, I'm sure Simon will do it. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this segment, and all the best for now. I hope you enjoyed using or will have a go at SDR television. Take care. I thought it would be worthwhile to show you guys where you can acquire your SDRs. Now, I've actually been in touch with I call him the boss. His name is Tom. And he runs Open Source SDR Lab, which is a store on AliExpress. I've actually purchased quite a lot of kit from him, like a HackRF, the Libre SDR, the Pluto, some other things that I can't remember, but quite a lot of stuff. And everything's good. And I've been in communications with Tom for quite a while. I've been trying to twist his arm so he will offer some sort of a coupon code and discount for our community.
Once again, I thought I'd add a comment. It's taken a long time to communicate with Tom, and I think we're finally in the final phase. I say a long time, like 9 months. So Tom, I believe that you're an honourable man if you're listening to this. In good faith, I'm giving you a plug. for your store. I hope that you see the positive side. It's a win-win situation for all of us. If you provide some sort of an incentive for us to buy from you. Take care, Tom, and I look forward to your positive feedback.
Both the BATC guys and also the locals here in the VK land. And he's very responsive, and hopefully in the next few days he will do something. So if you guys are interested in buying it, just hold your horses for a few minutes or a few days and see what the response is. You'll save a few dollars. Essentially, this is the sort of going price, at least in Australia at the moment. But I think we will get a relatively good discount, significant, worth your weight, as they say.
Just another comment. In all our discussions, Tom keeps on asking me what sort of discount do you expect, and I keep on telling him that it's got to be significant, and I would strongly recommend, Tom, if you're listening to this, the Australian price will be well under $200. I think there's still some margin there for everybody, and a good positive start for this community. Thanks, Tom.
So just thought you might be interested in the developments of this situation. So highly recommend this store. Wait for a few days or so, and we'll be able to offer you some coupon codes. Take care. Until next time.